Right, bag, new bag. I thought I'd have to upgrade and treat myself. So we brought the Nash Dwarf rucksack. And for a rucksack, it surprisingly carries everything I need. From bait to rigs to rig setups. Even my alarms go in here, which is great. Gas, my cooker, anything I'll need. Go for a long haul session at the lake. Obviously apart from me bivvy and me bed and stuff. But everything bait wise to fish is in this big bad boy. So, 2 side pockets. We'll crack this out first. Excuse the mess, because I haven't cleaned it since our last day trip to Broadlands. Because I was too sunburnt and after a long day in the sun, I just wanted to sleep, have a cold drink and relax. So I came in and just put it in my cupboard, and that was kind of all she wrote. So what we've got, we'll hit the baits first. Mainline Cell Link. Never actually used this before. I've got a few friends I work with and they've highly recommended it. Just mainline baits in general, they say is a good bait to use. I usually use Manila, sticky Manila, boilies or wafters. So we've got it in here. There we go. This is usually my go-to. These are 12mm. I'll go anything from 12mm up to 20mm. I think anything bigger than 20mm for Manila, don't really think it's worth it. But yeah, with the 12s, you know, you can put one on your rig, but I think just one 12mm boiler on your rig, I think that's asking for trouble with bream. So if I'm going to use those, I'll double up, or I'll put them on with one of my other boilies, pop-ups, wafters, whatever else I'm using on the day, or whatever's kind of worked for me in the past. I've also got, sticking with mainline baits, we've got, the link was 15mm, cell 15mm. I know Cordy use that quite a lot, so it's always good to try and steal a few tips off the pros. And get the crush down. Essential Cell as well, again 15mm. I used 2 of the 3 bags, being the Cell and Mainline Cell Broadlands. Annoyingly, just for a day trip, I only caught 2 bream, but I think the weather was just too hot on the day. I think they were sunbathing like most of us anglers around the side of the lake. But we've got a trip to Broadlands coming up the 30th of June through the weekend. So that'll be all 3 of the boys, me, Sam, that was weird, me, Harper and Baker. I think a couple of other friends are coming down, but we'll see. What else are we got in the bag? So, pop-up wise, sticking with the baits, nice and yellow. Again, mainline, both of them. We've got pop-ups and high impacts. The high impact being the high leakage pineapple pop-ups, but being the crafty rascal I am, I added in there some isotonic goo. Now, I only picked this because Baker's used it on his first trip to Broadlands, where he done, I think, a 5-day stint. And he had quite a bit of luck on it. So I thought, why not? I've not used it before. If it works, then great. If it doesn't, then I can experiment with other baits or whatever we want. And here we've got the Pop-Ups Essential Cell. So obviously going hand in hand, but with the Essential Cell in the bag, I brought myself a new toy, which I think is in here, which we all do love, and everyone got good use out of it on the day, my boilie crusher. Now this is an absolute saving grace. For 15 quid, I could not say no, and this makes my life so much easier on the bank, getting ready to rig up. Obviously, they will get chucked straight into this bad boy. PVA fast melting mesh bags, or mesh. One sec. That I used to use a quarter one, but it was too thin. The bags are too thin. Whereas this one, it's nice and hefty. I can get nice big chunky bags out there, and I can fill it with however much I want. Usually, especially down Broadlands, with a lot of bait, been spotted as well. Obviously, with it being a big lake, excuse me, big fish, and a lot of fish. We're gonna need to get that bait out there, especially after spawning season. They're gonna be hungry. Right, what next in the bag? My catapult, which Baker, being the absolute great guy he is, broke it on the first session I used it, down Broadlands, in our first video. So if you haven't watched it, head on over. We'll probably chuck it in the link below. Give that a watch. A few PBs caught now, which is a good one. But Baker had come over to my bivvy one evening, and he had that guilty look on his face, he always does. And he asked, "Oh, can I borrow your catapult?" And instant response of, "Yeah, where's yours?" His response was, "Ha, I broke it." So I said, "Yeah, you can use it, just don't break it." Within 20 minutes, Baker comes back over with that hanging off, one of the bands snapped hanging off and broken. But luckily, he fixed it. So hopefully it lasts now, but I think we've ordered a new one just in case. And that comes before our session at Broadlands, and my bait boat comes then too, which is going to be absolutely lovely to get in those little nooks and crannies under the trees, especially on the banks where you can't really get cast. Moving on from my great catapult, gas. Now this bad boy, we've got 2 cans, but this, especially in the winter, is what you need. Cups of tea, if you're like me. I drink tea like it goes out of fashion. Hot meals, obviously you need your stove. And occasionally if your hands get too cold, just a little bit over the fire, not too close, and it'll do the job. Not really got a lot in here because I'm in the middle of transferring all of my gear from my old bags into this one. We've got some rigs in here, which I do love, the already made hair rigs, because on the days where you're on the bank and you can't really be bothered to do anything, these bad boys come in great handy. You can just hook them straight on, and these ones have already got swivels on them, so it makes my life even easier. So I'll quickly run you through these, because these are usually my go-to rigs, unless I'm feeling spontaneous on the bank and decide to make my own. But we've got sizes 6 and 4. They're usually the sizes I kind of stick with, unless we go to a smaller lake, when I'll just chuck on a size 8. But especially these for Broadlands, big hooks, big baits, hopefully big old fish. That'd be carp, pike, catfish, whatever else they've got in there. But we want them on the lines, on the banks, in our nets, and obviously in our videos. Obviously because we'll love it, hopefully you'll love it. Everyone's a winner. But now, I've got 6 rigs here. I've got a load more in my other bag, which next time we're at Broadlands, I'll give you a quick run through, because by then I'm back from my holiday, thank God, which I go on tomorrow. Exciting times. But we'll be back. I'll have a week to sort all my gear, ready for Broadlands with the boys. Job done. So I've got 2 size 4s, being crank rigs from Corda. Good glare that is, but they do the job really. Quick, easy, chuck them straight on. You can't go wrong. Bait on, they hold. For me, the max I got 2 20mm boilies on at once, just to test. I'm not that crazy to throw 2 20mm boilies out on the same rig. Whoever would do that, good luck to you. All being barbless as well. Most lakes are quite difficult with barb hooks and barbless hooks, but I play it safe. I'll just go barbless, then no one can mow. And then the other 4 size 6s, again, 2 spinner rigs and 2 crank rigs. I was about to say 4 then, but there's the spinner rig. I'll bring it in close for you. Nothing too great, nothing too words going out of my head, but they are the rigs. They're the rigs for when I'm lazy or on a rainy day, shall we say. Nice and tucked away in the side of my bag. This stuff, Smart Cell Active. Is it the active stuff? No, it's just a Smart Cell liquid. Tried this out with my Spod Mix and one of my other mainline rigs at Broadlands. I've used it once before, not at Broadlands, at Hordle, I believe. Worked a treat before Broadlands that caught me my PB down there. Well, that's my PB mirror at 27. But annoyingly, the photos of that fish were on an old phone, which is, I have no idea now. So unfortunately, I have no photos or anything to prove I caught that beast. So the one we caught at Broadlands, the one that's on film, that's on our phones, that at 25.6, I believe, somewhere around that mark. Common, you know, I didn't even hear it scream off at 2 o'clock in the morning. Thankfully, the boys were already up, Harper having living up to his name of the King of Breams. Obviously, they woke me up after a few attempts. I finally climbed up my bivvy to land that beast. But yeah, this, I think it works quite well, especially in your mixes. PVA bag friendly, which is great, especially for all 3 of us, especially me and Baker, because we do love a PVA bag. Harper's just getting into it now, especially in our last session at Broadlands. He was able to cast quite far, but obviously couldn't get his catapult out that far, so he needed some bait out to go with his rig. I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, we do. Bite alarms, because they are a must. So these ones I've got, thankfully, SSJ's own Sam Baker was selling these ones because he upgraded, and I needed a set of bite alarms just to kind of get us through for a bit. But I have on the way a set of Delcom TX IDs, which I've been told are very good, but also very expensive, which is, my bank account thanked me for that one. But these ones are the Vader X. I'll start that again. These are the Sonic Vader X's. Now these, when Baker pulled these out the first time he got them, I said, not bad. I quite like them. Now they're in my possession, and I think they're great because I have them. So we've got 4 alarms and our receiver. Obviously, won't be having four rods out on the lake anytime soon. I'll stick to 3, but 3's enough, unless we can get away with 4. But you won't hear me complaining. What else have we got? My rig book, but this I think is rather empty and very, very messy. Now, I haven't used this rig book for a very long time, but I know one of you are going to slate me in the comments for this because how messy it is. I know how bad it is, but this is one of my little rig books. Lots of rigs over the years that have been made, and something's dropped on the floor and I can't see where it's gone. But yeah, that's just a lot of old rigs in there, rainy day rigs. Few of them are outdated, so I'm gonna have to chop and change between the few. But yeah, plenty of rigs, plenty of bait for our upcoming session at Broadlands. But that concludes the bag. Now we will run on to Quickly, favourite lakes, favourite baits. Obviously, you know the target of fish we go for, especially me. Obviously, I do love a good carp. Pike, they're always welcome. Not really fond of them, but you know, if it's a monster, I will not say no. And catfish, after our last Broadlands one, like I said, if you haven't watched it, what are you doing? Get on over there and watch it. But yeah, I am itching to get a catfish, especially at Broadlands. I know there's some monsters in there, of all variety of fish, like I've just rattled off. But I know they've got, I think, a catfish over 100 in there. And that would be a welcome addition. I know a few weeks back when we went, one of the lads on the lake, he was completely the other side of us on our first night when we was all freezing. Excuse me. He pulled out an 89.5 pounder, I think, catfish, which, I mean, who would say no to that? But yeah, Broadlands is a new fond favourite of ours. Big lake. We're starting to know the lake quite well, especially Carp Alley. We do love it. Hopefully, in the upcoming months, we're going to try a couple other swims. But I know Harper loves Carp Alley. Baker, I think Baker just likes to go fishing. But I know Baker likes his side of Carp Alley. The last time we went, I picked a bad swim. I was in between the boys and they caught all the fish. Luckily I caught one. But I'm interested to check out other parts of Broadlands. I know there's a few other swims, looking at a few other anglers and their videos. But yeah, Broadlands, yeah, I'd recommend it. I don't really think it's for the first time angler. I think go for a smaller lake, just because, you know, if you rack into something big and you panic, you don't really want to be losing your rod or your pod or whatnot. Smaller lakes, maybe for first timers. Flea, as you know, that's a favourite for us and me and the boys. Anything up to about 25 in there, so the bailiff and the owner says. I'm adamant we've got all the big fish out of that lake. I think we've got a couple of records, unofficial records. But yeah, we've caught basically all the nice fish, all the big fish out of that lake. It's a good lake, feeds predominantly the year round. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. Even for a sporadic day out, if you want to go fishing for the day, and you know, you're semi-local to Flea, I'd get down there. I think it's a tenner for the day. Can't really go wrong. Where else? Headlands Farm Fishery. That's good up in Wellow. Again, Bottom Lake. I think me and the boys, we own quite a few of the unofficial records in there. Especially my half tail. I think if you've seen on our socials, on our Instagram. Baker's had a few nice fish out there. Half bass, fun enough. Bottom Lake at Wellow, Headlands. Harper's first ever catch was great. I remember getting the shout from him. I think Baker was in the toilet at the time, and Harper was kind of in the little corner in the cubby hole. And he called over as a cry for help because he didn't really know what to do. Because I think the fish caught him in the tree just on his swim, and I think a bit of panic setting because he was excited. But I give him a hand. We got the fish out, and yeah, it was a really nice carp. So yeah, that's a good lake, very good lake. The top lake, I think you can ask anyone. Personally, the fishing years ago, I'd say 8-9 years ago, I used to go there with one of our friends, Matt. We went there quite a lot before the now owners took it over and kind of redeveloped and whatnot. It fished quite well, but now I think over the last couple of winters, especially the winter we've just had, was harsh. I think they lost a few fish that I don't know if they're still in there, but not a lot's coming out of the main lake. But I know if something does come out, it's a big fish. But I think we could be scheduling a trip to go there soon, back end of the summer, maybe for the weekend, see if we can get some of the big ones out. But yeah, again, that lake, it's a nice lake, not expensive, good facilities, can't go wrong. They're local to us. There's another one, Longbridge. I've not fished there for a few years, but from what I remember, it's good fishing. A few friends have fished there. Fishes quite well. Again, for kind of the new angler, that's another good lake. more of an experienced angler, some bigger fish. Hordle's a good lake. Todbur's another good lake. Obviously Broadlands as well. I'm just doing the ones kind of down the south coast of England, closer to us. You go up north, there's a few good ones. Norton Disney, that's on the list for us to hit, especially me. That's got some very good fish. Gigantica, excuse me. Again, I know Corder fish there a lot. They're in Norton Disney, big fish coming out of there. So they're on the list for us. But yeah, I think, you know, you've got a variety of lakes, kind of, especially for us. We've got quite a few down at the south coast. But yeah, in England, I know there's quite a few lakes. A lot of syndicates popping up now, syndicate lakes. But yeah, if you're able to justify the money to go buy a syndicate, you know, they've got very good fish in those lakes. But yeah, move on to the baits for me. Big lakes, again, mainline sail. Anything from 12mm onwards. But like I said earlier, with 12mm, I'd beef them up a bit. I'll put them with either a 15, 18 or a 20mm. Or even 22 or, you know, plus 20mm plus. But yeah, with smaller lakes, 15mm is the biggest I tend to go. Down at Flea, I've got Flea with sticky manila boilies, 15mm. I'm confident on any day I'll rack double figures out of there. What else? Pop-ups. Never really been a big fan of pop-ups until a few months ago. But again, lifesaver, absolute lifesaver. They smell nice, they look bright, they smell in the water. Chuck a bit of goo or whatever bait, if you've got some spod mix, chuck some goo in your spod mix, you know, beef the area up a little bit. You should get a good bite. What else have we got? So we've done the bait with lakes, in our bag, had a quick run through. Time of year, who doesn't love fishing in the summer? Shorts, t-shirt, fishing out with friends or even on your own. Just nice to get out for the weekend or the long weekend or even a week. I think anyone would give anything to give it to be at the lake over the summer period. I know we do. I know Baker maybe not so much, because being a fair ginger-headed lad, he does burn very easily. But it's comical for me and Harper. It's comical, and we do like to wind him up, as obviously you will see in the videos. But yeah, I have quite a lot of luck in the summer with fish. In the winter as well, it's touch and go. But I think with anyone, it's touch and go in the winter. They like to sit deep. They've eaten enough throughout the summer and the spring, and then they settle in for the winter. And then when they come out of winter, as we all know, they do love a feed. But yeah, I think we'll wrap that up for today. Obviously, you know, check all of our socials out, our Instagram, Twitter.